You know, a lot of times people ask me, Alvo, what do you think of online exposure of magic? And my response is usually the same. It's all about the number 6 billion and how we are not designed to comprehend that number. So what I mean by this is there's like 6 billion plus people on the planet. It'll be 7 billion soon, apparently. And our brains are designed to handle numbers like 5 and 7 and 2. And so when you get a number as big as 6 billion, the perception is completely skewed. So when you have people watching YouTube videos, if you have 1 million people watch a YouTube video, that's still hardly any people relative to how many people there are in the world. And I mean, trust me, a guy in his bedroom exposing a magic trick is probably not going to get 1 million views on YouTube. Even if he does, like I said, it's not a big deal. Consider these types of things. I mean, O.J. Simpson trial, they found jurors who hadn't heard of anything, hadn't seen or heard anything about the trial. You know, I mean, it probably wasn't that tough either, even though you'd expect everybody on the planet to have heard of that. You know, when I meet people and they ask me what I do, you know, I say I create magic tricks. Like for example, I say like, have you ever seen David Blaine on television? And they'll say no. And I'll, you know, inside I'm like, what? You haven't heard of David Blaine? I'm like, that's crazy, but that's the world I live in, where everybody knows who David Blaine is. But then, you know, compared to the number 6 billion, you know, the people who know, you know, David Blaine or whatever is still not a lot of people relative to how many people there are on the planet. And it's amazing to me that a lot of people I meet just don't know who David Blaine is, for example. So I mean, you know, that is just like that's a guy who's on TV. That's a guy who's been on TV for the last like 10 years. So I mean, when you're doing a trick or when you do a trick and you see somebody exposing it on YouTube, I mean, there are a lot of better uses for your time than stressing about the fact that people are going to know how that works. I mean, this is not at all addressing the issue of the fact that, you know, magic is not about secrets. Magic is about entertaining and magic is about having fun. But even aside from all of that, even if it were about the secrets, I'd say just relax. You know, there's just it's just not that big of a deal. So that's it. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear what you think, and I'll talk to you soon.